The regularly scheduled Orion Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting scheduled at this date and this time. Please call the roll.
Van Durham,
Here.
Don Walker,
Here.
Mike Flood,
Here.
Tony Cook,
Here.
Diane Danaskis here. Quorum is present.
Very good, thank you.
Lars.
Next, we have review of the minutes of our 14th of August meeting. Does any members have any concerns or motion?
Sure, move to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Walker, supported by Mr. Cook. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Tonight's agenda is, for us, a short one, 3 cases. Does the board have any concerns or questions or a motion before we move forward on that?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Flood, supported by Mrs. Danaskis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're off to it. First case, AB 2023-22, Harold Robinson, 3089 Buckner Road, Sidwell 09-08-376-018. Applicant is seeking 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned SE, Article 27, Section 27.02A5. Number 1, a 2-foot variance above the 12-foot midpoint measurement of the principal structure to build a pole barn that measures 14 feet at its midpoint. And the second one is Article 27, Section 27.02A8. Variance number 2 is a 396 square foot variance above the allowed 900 square feet, maximum floor area of detached accessory buildings to build a 1,296 square foot pole barn. And number 3 is a 568 square foot variance above the allowed 1,300 square feet, maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 1,296 square foot pole barn in addition to a 572 square foot attached garage. Do we have an applicant? Come on up, introduce yourself, please. Give us your address.
My name is Harold Robinson, and I live at 3089 Buckner Road.
Is your mic on there, Mr. Robinson? Is there a light on it?
Yes, there is.
You just put
Bring it up a little bit.
Bring it up a little
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Let us know, you are looking for a little bit bigger barn.
Yes.
Let us know why it needs to be higher, which is one variance, and
All right. The reason why I wanted it to be a little higher is because I wanted to put a car hoist in there and it for the height. So that's why I wanted to go a little higher.
can do any commercial work in there?
No, just my own personal. So,
Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Let us know.
oh no, and it's just my own personal use and just because I want to, and another reason why I want to build it is because I want to tear down all my, like the small barns and get rid of them. That's why I wanted a little bigger barn.
When I went out there and looked at it to the, it'd be the right-hand side of your property, the road that goes back to those 2 houses behind you.
Yes.
Do either one of those neighbors, have they expressed any concern over your plans?
No,
Have they said anything about it at all?
no, I talked to them about it. They seemed
Okay.
all fine about everything.
Good.
Didn't have a problem.
Have you done misdig for your site there?
Not yet.
That's
The-
something that you will do, though?
Yes, oh yeah. Yep.
Thank you, board members.
Question, are you on a septic and well?
I'm on a septic well, yes.
Well, are they, this isn't located near them, right?
No,
You're further back.
nope, I'm far enough on, back in the property.
I see you're just under 1 acre right there. And
Yes,
I looked at your house, you got a real low profile roof there on that house.
yes.
And that's what they go by,
Right, yep,
height variance.
yep.
Yeah. If you had a dormer or something on there, you wouldn't have to ask for that variance.
I know that, I think her name was Lynn.
Yeah.
Said if you build 150 foot away from the house,
Yeah.
which would still leave me 40 feet from the back of the barn to the back of my property if I did something like that.
I notice you got wetlands back there behind you.
Pardon me?
I saw there's some wet property back there behind you.
Slightly,
Yeah, on the left side there when I was looking.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. But you meet all the setback standards. You're not asking for any of that.
No,
And you're not going over your lot coverage either,
no.
according to our documents, so.
Should we, should this be approved this evening it would be contingent on the removal of those buildings, you would understand that?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Chairman. Mr. Robinson, you were talking about the property a little bit. It's kind of wet, just as a whole. So was that one of the reasons why you didn't move it further back in the property, or what's the reason there?
You know, I didn't really have a reason why I didn't move it to the back, which I could. I have no problem with moving it back.
Okay, I was just thinking about it from the standpoint of your yard itself,
Right.
in terms of the usage, because it's kind of like right there by the swing set and,
Right.
and-
Yeah, I have no problem moving it back whatsoever.
okay, okay. And then, did you build this home?
No, I didn't.
Okay, all right. And then when I was out, there were some tracks. It looked like some kind of heavy equipment. What was that?
I just had a dead pine tree that was in the back that I had removed.
Right in the middle? of
Yes,
where-
and I still have to put dirt and see.
Okay, gotcha.
There was a dead pine tree there that I got rid of.
Okay, and then the trailer that's there, is that the enclosed? What's the purpose of that?
That is an enclosed trailer. I would like to actually get rid of that also.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
If,
Well,
not yet.
It's not that easy, okay.
If you move it, will it take it away from the protection of those arborvitaes? Will it make it more visible, do you think, to the people going up and down beside your house?
Pardon me?
If you pushed it back, I'm driving down that road, you had a block of arborvitaes that it was kind of behind, would screen it a little bit,
Yeah,
which in my
yes.
mind is not a bad thing.
Right,
That's just all I'm thinking.
right. No, I agree.
Thank you. Board members?
When did you purchase the home?
I purchased it in 2010.
And were those other buildings, the garage or sheds, were they there?
No, I put the sheds up
Okay.
kind of for like, and every time I have to mow the yard or something, I have to like take everything out of my shed in order to even mow.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have anybody in the audience tonight that came to speak specifically to this case? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I also noticed in your documents, you don't have a basement in the house.
No.
And I'll tell you what, my basement is, my wife's got that thing jammed with, and
Oh,
I still got a pole barn.
you acquire,
Yeah, storage is a big thing.
yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I noticed in the documents when I was going through here, on the way Lynn wrote these motions up, it says date stamp received May 26th. And I'm looking at the documents here, and it's date stamped July 14th. I don't know if that,
Did you have your plans drawn at a different time than you brought the case in?
No,
I think we got,
I came at I came at the end of the month, and she said that there was too many meetings last month, so I had to wait the previous month.
Okay.
if you got the official Orion Township stamp received dated July 14th, it's not May 26th.
This is July 14th, that's
A
good.
technicality.
Much paperwork as they handle, it's amazing they get as much right as they do. You hardly
Exactly.
ever see anything come through.
Just a typo.
Board has nothing additional, we have no comment. We could entertain a motion. Do you have anything additional for us, sir?
No, sir.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Naskis?
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2023-22, Harold Robinson, 3089 Buckner Road, Sidwell number 09-08-376-018, I move that the petitioner's request for 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned SE. Article 27, Section 27.02A5, 1, a 2-foot variance above the 12-foot midpoint measurement of the principal structure to build a pole barn that measures 14 feet at its midpoint. Article 27, Section 27.02A8, number 2, a 396 square foot variance from the allowed 900 square feet maximum floor area of detached accessory buildings to build a 1,296 square foot pole barn. 3, a 568 square foot variance above the allowed 1,300 square feet maximum floor area of all accessory buildings to build a 1,296 square foot pole barn in addition to an existing 572 square foot attached garage be granted for plans date stamp received July 14th, 2023, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show a practical difficulty due to the unique characteristics of the property. He bought this home. He did not build the home. There is inadequate storage. It does not have a basement for storage. He needs to store his equipment for yard care, maintenance of the property, and needs a larger facility than the small sheds that he currently has. He is building the pole barn, although it is, there are extraordinary circumstances, even though the pole barn is 14 feet high, his roof line is short compared to many others. It's not a two-story home, so even though it is slightly above the allowed 12 feet, it is understandable due to the low profile of his home. The pole barn is not exceptionally large. It falls within all of the other boundaries, and there are no setback issues with this pole barn. The height of the pole barn is needed for him to repair his vehicle inside and have a lift to be able to accomplish that. It is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of his property. Variance will not materially be detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located based on the following. It's set back, this pole barn is set back, it does not impede in any of the other properties in the area. In fact, there are similar buildings in the area, although we are basing this strictly on this property. It will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties. It will not unreasonably increase congestion of public streets. It will not increase danger of fire or endanger the public safety. It will not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area, or in any other respect impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the township.
I will second the motion if the motion maker would consider amending the motion to include that the two existing sheds shall be removed once the pole barn has been built and properly permitted.
Yes, thank you for that addition.
We have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Danaskis with support as amended by Mr. Flood. Does the rest of the board have any concerns or questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Diane Danaskis, yes. Don Walker,
Yes.
Mike Flood,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, motion passes. You're on your way. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
All right, have a good night. Next, case AB 2023-24, Terry Labruzzi, I apologize, at 688 King Circle, Sidwell, 09-10-278-047. Applicant is seeking one variance from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R3, Article 27, Section 27.17B. The variance is a 25-foot wetland setback variance from the required 25 feet to place a 4-foot fence 0 feet from the wetland. So, introduce yourself, please,
Hello, I'm Terry Labruzzi, and I reside at 688 King Circle.
and you want to replace that fence there that's looking kind of rickety, okay? You're not doing anything height-wise or anything other than just replacing what's there?
No.
The only question I had, where did I have it? Oh, it said that you want to run it all the way to the water,
Yeah, it's just exactly where it is.
the one that's where it is now. So
Yeah.
it looks like a little pump house or something down there and some greenery right on the water edge?
Yeah, there's, our seawall has a little, maybe 1.5 tap on it. But right now, the fence just goes up to that. It has like a return where the seawall gets returned in for, I don't know, structure. So it just goes right there. So that's why we're just gonna put it right back to the seawall.
Whose property is that fence on now?
Fine.
Yours? Okay. You didn't put it up, was it there when you got the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Board members?
Just note for the record, the date stamp is also wrong on this one. It's July 14th also. Sometimes I think they just copy and paste and they got to change the date.
Well, this is your fault.
You don't have Al Daisley working in the office, do they? Temporarily.
Mr. Chairman? Just the fence that's there, are you going back with wood, or are you going with plastic? I know it's, and then the height, just to verify.
Most likely we'll do, we're still in the process. We kind of went back and forth. I don't think we can reuse much of the wood, so we might just look into like a white vinyl fence.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at. The fence originally had gone all the way to the street when we bought the property, and we took it down and brought it to the point where you guys
Yeah.
saw it.
I can see that. You did a nice job on the landscaping to replace that.
Oh, thank you.
That looks really
Yeah, I think
nice.
it just looks better. So we're just trying to improve the house and the fence. If it rains or storms real hard, sometimes a picket will go flying, so I think it'll just improve. And we're delineating between our property and the next property, which is an association, so gives us a little bit of privacy and gives them a little privacy.
Mr. Flood?
I was just going to mention that, I want Mr. Cook, white vinyl, maintenance-free. And if you have to, you can power wash it right off, and it looks awesome. I
My
noticed,
husband just power washed the seawall, so I think he would
Yep.
be more inclined to doing like a vinyl,
Yep.
but.
and I noticed it's back against it, you got your little wood platform there for your, like along your dock there. And it's back off of that, so.
Yeah.
But I noticed your practical difficulty was going through your documents is that easement next door, was it a public access or
It's
for
an
the subdivision or something?
It's like an association.
Yep, yep, and that keeps the people off of your property. And, yeah, for me, that's very, very good for a practical difficulty, in my view. Thank you.
Do we have anybody out in the crowd out in the gallery there that came to speak specifically to this?
I'm here just to listen, but I am president of the Lawyers Association.
Okay, did you come to speak to the board about this? Okay, very good.
I think there's a neighbor has a letter in here too, I think. Was there a letter?
One of them did.
I believe there was. Let me go through my paperwork.
Writing in support, yes. Letter from,
Finds it, if you'd go ahead and read it in the record, that'd be a good thing.
we do have a letter from a neighbor, Mark Craig. Says, I'm writing to support the requested variance for 688 King Circle, AB 2023-24, Sidwell 0910278047. This variance would simply allow for the repair and replacement of an existing fence. Craig, 670 King Circle, Lake Orion.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Ms. Flood, do you have anything, Mr. Walker, before we take up? Ms. Flood, please.
All right. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2023-24, Terry LaBruzzi.
LaBruzzi.
Hey, I said that right, thank you. 688 King Circle, Sidwell number 0910278407. I move that the petitioner's request for one variance from zoning ordinance number 78, Zone R3, Article 27, Section 27.17B, 1, a 25-foot wetland setback variance from required 25 feet to replace a 4-foot fence 0 feet from a wetland be granted. Date stamp received July 14, 2023, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met, and in this case, the set forth facts would show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. Due to the unique characteristics of her property being alongside the association's easement there to the lake, and this prevents people from getting onto their property, and it makes it a lot safer, too, for one of them down through there. Whether it be daytime or nighttime. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved and not generally applied to other properties in the same district. This is an existing fence. This is not self-created. It's dilapidated, and they want to replace it so they can keep their property and their neighbors' properties looking nice along the lake there. The variance is necessary for preservation and enjoyment of substantial property right possessed by other property in the same zone as district based on the following facts, as I previously stated. Let's see, I'll flip the page here for you. Easier to do this than off my computer. The granting of the variance or modification will not be material detrimental to the public welfare or material injurious to the property or to improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located based on the following facts. She has a neighbor that is in the record that has supported this, and she has her president from her association here that has no objection to this variance request. Further, based on the following findings of fact, the granting of this variance would not impair an adequate supply or light or air to adjacent properties, would not reasonably increase congestion in public streets, will not increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety, and the fire marshal has no concerns with this one, as it's in our pamphlet. Well, or unreasonably diminish or impair established property rights within the surrounding areas, or in any other respect impair the public health, safety, comforts, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the Charter Township of Orion.
I'll offer support. I have a motion by Mr. Flood, supported by myself. Anything further, Mr. Cook?
Prior to voting on this, just, Mr. Flood, this one was received July 26th. You said July 14th.
Looking at, let's see. No, I got July 14th on my, anyone here? Oh, pardon me, I'm back to Robinson. Thank you, sir. I made a mistake.
So we're date stamped the 26th of July.
I make that correction in the record, July 26th, 2023. Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you.
Very good. Do we have anything additional from board members? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mike Flood?
Yes.
Don Walker?
Yes.
Tony Cook?
Yes.
Diane Danaskus, yes. Dan Durham?
Yes, motion passes. You're all set?
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, take care. Next up, excuse me, 2023-25 Carroll's LLC for Lapeer Road Burger King signage at 1155 South Lapeer Road, Sidwell 09-14-226-011. Applicant is seeking two variances from sign ordinance 153, non-residential ground sign zoned OP. Number one is a variance to allow 4 additional ground signs above the 1 allowed for a total of 5 ground signs, 1 pylon, 2 order confirmation units, and 2 menu boards. And number two is a 1.75 height variance each allowed above the allowed, get it right, 8 foot for 2 confirmation unit ground signs to be 9.75 foot tall each. So number two, the second variance is a 1.75 variance for each of the confirmation units to be 9.75. Hi, are you representing the restaurant or the sign contractor?
My name is Ron Natus. I represent Carroll's LLC, which is the owner of the Burger King franchise.
Okay.
My office is at 39395 West 12 Mile in Farmington Hills.
Tell us what we need to know.
Okay. Essentially, as you said, there are 2 variances. We had a number of other things we would have liked to have put on the building, but we slimmed it all down to just these 2 things. And they really have to do with the fact that we have a double drive-through, and there's nothing unusual about having a order confirmation board and a menu board for a fast food drive-through restaurant. In fact, you pretty much couldn't operate without them if you have a drive-through. But apparently what we're up against is that if they are not within 20 feet of the drive-up window, which these are not, then they are considered ground signs. If they had been within the 20 feet, they wouldn't be considered ground signs. And the problem we have is that the configuration of this site, there's really not much, we don't have a whole lot of room. This is, as you know, an existing Burger King site, but it's not a large site. And in order to get the proper swing of the cars around the back through the drive-through, it would be virtually impossible to get them within 20 feet of the drive-through window. And so the variance regarding the number of signs is really just for the 2 menu boards and the 2 confirmation boards that are pretty much standard fare for any fast food restaurant. The height variance has everything to do with, well, I shouldn't say everything. It has to do with what we as the franchisee are required to do. That is, Burger King corporate franchisor has created a new, what they consider to be state-of-the-art menu confirmation board. It's an integrated unit that not only has all of the bells and whistles in terms of, technology built into it for the kind of operation that people really want, but also it has a built-in canopy that allows people to order without being, getting wet if it's raining. And so this integrated unit is 9.75 feet tall, and we aren't really in a position to tell Burger King that they need to create a custom sign for us. So we are in a position where we are stuck with the sign as it's configured, but also because it has that canopy, which, as a customer of Burger King and other fast food restaurants, I appreciate. I like the idea of the canopy when it's inclement weather. It has to be a certain height in order to make sure that it's not interfering with the kinds of vehicles that are likely to use the lane. And so it's limited to, it needs to have a higher clearance than you might expect. And because this is all an integrated unit, it's all considered a ground sign. And so that's why we ended up with a ground sign. I use air quotes because it's not all sign, but it is all an integrated unit that is being considered a sign for these purposes, and its height is 9.75 feet.
You mentioned 2 signs. You have 1 lane now, correct?
There's currently 1 lane. It's been approved for 2.
And they're gonna, this probably doesn't fall into your wheelhouse, but that site is fairly narrow and fairly deep. You're gonna be able to make, as you said yourself, adequate turning space for additional lane?
Good question. But yes, the site plan approval already contemplates it, and it's been approved. And it does require you to go out. You can't just cut through and cut off the angle. You've got to be able to have cars go all the way around, and that part's been approved already. But there's no way to do that and be within 20 feet of the drive-through window.
Thank you. Board members.
I look at this this is the practical difficulty we was explaining here, and I watched the planning commission when this came before the planning commission. And the radius on those drives too is the fire department wants to be sure they can get their big vehicles and stuff in there too. But we're having the same, just because we'll decide this case on its own merit. But I've noticed that we're getting a lot of that now with the new drive-throughs and stuff. We're getting the new technology now with the new computer screens, and also the new menu boards, and they're the same with how they're doing their distancing for that. And I see this is about the second, third time this has come before us.
Way to the future.
I think so, yeah. But talking about that high canopy, I had a high-top van, and I needed that clearance to get, I needed over 8 feet of clearance. I can't even get in an underground garage, you know how that is. But I can understand why they need that high clearance for a high vehicle like that. So, that's just my, but I'm looking at the practical difficulties in this.
Okay. Thank you. Board members.
I'll make a motion, unless someone else would like to.
Give us a second.
Okay.
Mr. Cook, looks like he's got something on his mind.
Yeah, this is a minor thing, but it's major to me. There's no signature of the property owner. Who is the property owner?
I will tell you that This was originally signed by the real estate manager. Is that what you mean? It was, right. And I noticed the same thing.
Okay.
And I went back to the company and asked them to formally authorize Mr. Cross, who is the vice president of real estate of the company, who is also, he himself is authorized by the board of directors. And we've actually submitted those authorization papers with all of the other permits we had, and it did not happen on this particular application. I do have that with me, though,
Okay.
and I'm happy to share that with you.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it was addressed. If it was addressed at planning, then I fully accept that.
Okay, yeah, no, it's been addressed all the way through. Yes, thank you.
Good point.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Walker.
it looks to me as if this setup is, I don't want to compare this to one of your competitors, but at McDonald's, the setup is right down the street from you. Looks very much like you're proposing here, but with the exceptions of the, you can't get within 20 feet of the building, although their stuff seems to be right close to the building. Is that, am I missing something, or is that what you're telling me now?
I'm just telling you that the way this site is configured, we can't make the menu boards can't be out of vision, obviously. They can't be around the bend. And so the way this site is configured, we just can't make the 20 feet. And so if it had been within the 20 feet, we wouldn't be here on that variance because they wouldn't be considered ground signs at all. But because of how our site is configured, we just can't make it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The young lady with you, the expert on the sign layout.
Yeah, the young lady with me is Eponine Pierre with our engineer, and was here to answer questions if they came up.
I'm not qualified to ask.
I'm not either, but I'm going to ask. So obviously, there's going to be some construction. You're going to lose some parking spaces. Is that correct, ma'am?
Actually, I can answer that question.
Okay.
And the answer is lose some parking spaces that are currently there, absolutely. The site plan approval contemplates a fairly significant reduction of parking spaces.
You gotta let the lady answer one question.
Okay.
Come all the way here.
My bad. You know what? You are so right about that.
That's what I came up with.
I'm actually sitting here feeling like, why didn't I just let her answer that? Ask another question, come on.
Have you recalculated the amount of parking spaces that you have to have for that restaurant?
So that was calculated, and initially for the initial site plan application, we did meet that requirement, and then there were some changes requested by the Planning Commission, and they were reduced to be, and the space was left for anticipated future parking spots.
You got bank parking spots.
Yep. Yes.
Good, thank you.
Will this, Mr. Chairman, in the process of doing this, are you going to redo the entire parking lot? Or piece the parts that are in need of attention? Is that part of this plan also?
So we plan on redeveloping everything within the right-of-way limits, and we're also proposing some milling in the back access drive also.
Are you connected to the water and sewer?
So for water and sewer, we plan on reusing the existing service on site.
I had to ask my engineering question.
We haven't, the two folks left, I don't think you came to talk to this to you. Okay. Have to ask, so thank you.
It's $2 if you stay past your, okay,
A piece.
a piece, yeah.
They have to buy us a Burger King.
Yeah, there you go.
Ms. Kanaskis, did I hear you say you were ready?
I am ready to, unless someone else would prefer to.
State stamped.
In the matter of ZBA, in the matter of ZBA case AB 2023-25, Carol's LLC for Lapeer Road Burger King signage, 1155 Lapeer Road, Sidwell 09-14-226 2023-011, I move that the petitioner's request for 2 variances from sign ordinance number 153, non-residential zoned area ground signs zoned OP. 1, a variance to allow 4 additional ground signs above the one allowed for a total of 5 ground signs, 1 pylon sign, 2 order information units, and 2 menu boards. 2, a 1.75 height variance each above the allowed 8-foot for 2 confirmation unit ground signs to be 9.75 feet tall each, be granted because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and the following facts are set forth. These plans are date stamped July 28th, 2023. Number 1, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulties. This property is long and narrow, and in order to accommodate the signage for the additional drive-through, they could not meet the 20-foot proximity to the order window. Therefore, in order for vehicles to be able to make the turn to come around the building, they have to place them farther than 20 feet away. The signs offer coverage for cars and have to be high enough to accommodate vehicles, especially today's modern-day vehicles. And these are, state-of-the-art signs, and this is this is a sign of what's coming for the future. These will serve the customers in a more efficient and safe way than previously. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances. Again, the design of the length of the property, it's long and narrow, the need to have an adequate turnaround, the inability to place the signs any closer to the windows than they currently are. The variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of the substantial property rights possessed by other properties in the same area. Vicinity, the granting of the variance will not materially be detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property, or improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located based on. It will not impair the adequate supply of light or air to the adjacent property. It will not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets. It will not increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety. It will not unreasonably diminish or impair the established property values in the surrounding area or in any other respect, impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the township.
Support.
Motion by Mrs. Danaskis, supported by Mr. Flood. Anything additional by the board?
Just
Mr. Cook?
point of clarity, did you mention the date stamp?
Yes,
I apologize, I missed that.
yes, Mr. Flood.
I made sure she did it right, not like I did.
See nothing additional, please call the roll.
Don Walker,
Yes.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Diane Danaskis, yes. Mike Flood,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, motion passes. You folks are all set.
Very much.
Good luck.
You got a date when you think everything will be all completed, or?
I would say we do not. We're right at the final throes for, the next step is engineering plan review. And I think they're out bidding the work. And
I hope you get it done before the building falls down. That's what I
Sorry,
gotta say.
sorry about that?
I hope you get it done before the building falls down. When
I won't pass that along, but
when was that built? What year, do you know?
yeah, it was,
Because I swear it was here when I moved in here 35 years ago, it was there.
yeah, no, we didn't own it at the time, but it was built back in the 80s.
It needs a little sprucing up.
We got that for you.
You got that figured out.
Planning Commission let us know already.
All right.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're out of public, so we don't have any public comment. Oh, communication/education, this is a new one. Do we have anything by the board members? Seeing nothing, committee reports. Do we have any active committees? No. Anything going on at the library that we need to know about, Mr. Flood, or Mr. Walker?
Whoever did you call me Mr. Flood?
I started to, yeah.
Goodness.
I'm sorry.
I was called that, so.
We do have a book sale, but it's, starts, I think it's the 19th of September is the next one starts, that week of, so you go buy some books.
I'm gonna ask a question. You're gonna wanna throw something at me, I imagine. Where do they get all the books they sell?
Steal them,
Steele.
I mean, is there actually that many books donated?
absolutely. We go through at least 10,000 books every book sale, 10,000,
Wow.
How many sales a year?
3.
Wow, that's incredible.
A lot of them are recycled. I mean, we sell the same book a number of times, don't get me wrong.
Well, generates revenue, that's the
It
key.
does.
Hate to say it, but anything that they pay for themselves, the taxpayers don't have to pay for.
The idea,
That's a good thing.
that's what we're there for.
Member comments, Mr. Flood?
I got a comment. If any of you are interested in free document shredding and electronic recycling, our Oakland County Sheriff, Michael Burchard, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Office are putting on a free document shredding and electronic recycling September 8th, that's a Friday. September 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's at the Oakland County Farmers Market, which is located on Pine Lake Road. And that's free to all Oakland County residents.
My lord, if that gets wide, they could be backed up for miles.
They do it twice a year. They do it in May, and then they do it in September.
Good,
Little public service announcement there.
good. Anything additional by the board?
I move to adjourn.
I've got nothing. I'll second. We have a motion to adjourn, and I've supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.